Hey guys, welcome to another review by me, McFool. This time I'm going to be reviewing Marvel vs. Capcom 3, The Fate of Two Worlds. This is a 2D fighting game made by Capcom, the guys who just rather recently released Street Fighter 4. The way this plays out is that you have these 3-on-3 tag team battles, so you pick 3 characters from either the Marvel or the Capcom side. You can mix and match as well. And then you fight each other. There's 36 characters. You start off with 32. 4 of those are unlockable. They're really not that hard to unlock. I played for about 2 hours and I had them unlocked just through normal gameplay. Some Marvel characters include Thor, Magneto, Spider-Man, Doctor Doom, and then some guys returning from Marvel vs. Capcom 2, Wolverine, Captain America, Iron Man, etc. Some Capcom characters include Spencer from Bionic Commando, Arthur from Ghosts and Goblins, Wesker from Resident Evil, Chun-li from Street Fighter, and Dante from Devil May Cry, Beautiful Joe from Beautiful Joe, etc. It is worth a little bit noting that with a total of only 36 characters, that's a full 20 less than Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Which is a little disappointing. Just having more characters to unlock would definitely increase the amount of time you would want to spend with this game, but it is worth mentioning that although there's less characters, it's pretty well balanced, and nobody feels like they're really overtly cheap. This is a very colorful game. I really like the cel-shaded, almost comic book style. It's very over the top, pulling off these insane aerial combos or team ultra combos and stuff really isn't that hard, and coming from me, someone who hasn't played a fighting game in any sort of length, any amount of real time since Soul Calibur 2 on the Xbox One, just spending an hour or two with this game, I was able to figure out how to pull off some neat and colorful flashy moves with most any character. There's a simple mode for people who are new to fighters, which basically maps like some of the special moves and combos to just one button, but it limits you, like you can't do all that character's special moves, so there's a trade-off there. This might be fun for some people at first, but I had a friend who had never played a fighting game prior to this, and just spending a good between half hour and an hour playing it, switching to normal mode was definitely more satisfying, and he was able to figure out the combos and be able to do some cool flashy moves as well. I'm also told that if you played Street Fighter 4 at any length, figuring out some of the fighting mechanics, their transition, I didn't, but I was still able to figure this out. But if you played Street Fighter 4, it might help you out a bit. I guess my only real complaint with this game is that I think it's somewhat shallow. There's only, in terms of offline modes, you just have your arcade, which you just play through against the computer, with the final boss being Galactus, who is pretty hard in my opinion on any difficulty level. He's kind of ridiculous, not impossible, but he's pretty hard, and you have to beat him in a time limit, otherwise he just KOs the earth, so there's a certain amount of ridiculousness there. But yeah, so offline you only have the arcade mode of Versus, where you can just play against a friend, and there's a training mode that is okay but not great. I don't know, I didn't really use it, didn't find it that useful. And then online there's only ranked in player matches, which I guess is kind of a downer, because in Street Fighter 4 there was a tournament mode and multiplayer team battles that are absent from this, and I don't really understand why Capcom wouldn't just bring all the stuff from Street Fighter 4, which was obviously pretty successful for a recent fighting game, and just kind of try to port it over to here. So I mean, it's just there's not a whole lot to do. Like, after having this game for only 2-3 days, I'm kind of starting to become bored with it. Fighting guys is still fun, and fighting against your friends is still really fun, but there's just not much to do other than that. There's no spin on it. Like, I understand it's just a fighting game, and that's really just kind of what you would expect to do is fight, but there's no real spin on the just normal, just you versus someone else or you versus the computer. The character endings for beating the game in arcade are also really not that cool. You just get like a 2-panel comic strip that is usually something that you don't really, is either nonsensical, doesn't really add anything to the character. It's kind of a shame because, again, Street Fighter 4 had a fully voiced and animated like character endings, which, and apparently Street Fighter 4 only had one less character than Marvel vs. Capcom 3, so I don't know why they didn't do that. I would expect that this game is going to get a bunch of DLC, which might add new modes and stuff, and new characters, and new costumes and whatnot. So if you're willing to pay for that, fine. But again, I would like to emphasize that to me, this is worth at least a rental. It's a very fun game. Like, the time that you spend with it, I think you will have fun with it. But at this point in time, I don't think it's worth a $60 purchase. Either wait for it to get cheap or just rent it on a weekend. You know you're going to have some friends over and be able to play. It is also worth noting that the online mode was down while I have had access to this game, so I can't really comment on that. But thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys around.